Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my current Gunlance build. Now before I do so, however, it is important to mention that at this point in time I still have not unlocked every single thing there is to unlock in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. The reasoning behind that is because I'm enjoying the journey as I'm playing the game. I'm not just burning through the whole game at a breakneck pace in order to unlock, everything there is to unlock. Obviously I want to see everything, but I want to see it at a nice pace. I want to enjoy the journey, and maybe I'm a little old-fashioned like that, but I believe that, as much as I want to produce content, I also want to enjoy myself along the way. That's just the way that I tackle these things. So, maybe some people are going to be upset. Oh, he hasn't unlocked this specific decoration or that specific gun lance. And yeah, I get it. But this is the one that I'm using right now. I'm currently Master Rank 70. I haven't done the Master Rank 70 Urgent Quest just yet. I'm going to be recording that after I record this video. So this is what we have at this point in time. And the main reason why I'm even doing this video is because I've had so many requests from people in my stream asking me, Rurikhan, what is your current Gunlance build? So here we go. Now, when it comes to the Gunlance choice itself, if you're trying to do bullet barrage, which is kind of like the point of this build, going as hard as you possibly can on bullet barrage, you're going to be looking at long shelling because that deals the most damage. And when it comes to long shelling at Master Rank 70, there's not a single other long shelling level 8 gun lance in the whole game. Now, I'm not saying that Capcom did gun lances dirty again, but they probably did. No, look, I'm pretty happy about Gunlance performance at this point, but the Gunlance variety is a little bit lacking, particularly when it comes to shelling level 8. And I know that there's a couple of people out there that are going to say, well, the difference between the damage of shelling level 7 and shelling level 8 is not that much. These are probably the same people that are like, oh, I need to have attack up 7. I can't have attack up 6. It has to be 7. These are probably the same people, but when it comes to gun lances, they like to make excuses and they're like, well, 7 and 8, I mean, really, what's the difference? It's pretty goddamn massive. That's what the difference is. So anyways, the gun lance choice is going to be the Roar of the Canine. This is going to bring us in at 320 raw. It's going to bring purple sharpness, which is pretty good. It's going to bring, obviously purple sharpness is the best, but when it comes to bullet barrage, don't really matter that much. When it comes to affinity, there's no affinity, which is fine. You don't really need it. Defense bonus, that's actually nice because we're going to take full advantage of that. It's got a tier 2 rampage slot and another tier 2 slot, and obviously long shelling level 8. This is pretty much a no-brainer when it comes to weapon, at least for me. So, this is what we went for. And then if we're going to be looking at the actual armor set that we're using for this, we're going to be using Arlo's set because, in my opinion, Arlo's set has better stat distribution in general than Basil's set for the type of playstyle that I'm doing. So we're going to go with Arlo's set, and we got the Hoplitz helm, the Hoplitz armor, the Hoplitz bracers, Magmadron coil. And you guys are like, Magmadron coil? Yeah, it's so that you can slot in those 2 redirection decos, and it also comes with, I believe, guard up. Yeah, it also comes with guard up, so that's nice. Then we have Regios Greaves, because those are going to bring in the evade extender. Now, you might have to swap some of the decorations around because I was extremely lucky with my charm. My charm is coming in with level 2 part breaker and level 3 wirebug whisperer and 2 tier 2 slots. I was extremely lucky in Monster Hunter Rise to get this particular charm, so I understand that a lot of you guys are not going to have that option. The most important skill is obviously going to be wirebug whisperer so that you can keep the bullet barrages going. So make adjustments as you see fit when it comes to decoration slots. In the Roar of the Canine, you're going to be looking at a Razor Jewel 2, and I put in an anti-dragon jewel, but in reality, you should be swapping this out depending on the monster that you're fighting. So like if you're fighting, something like an Urzuros or something like that, or a Garangolm, you want to put in an anti-Fang Beasts. If you are fighting pretty much almost anything else in the game, you just keep the anti-dragon jewel. There's also an anti-aquatic that you can use for crabs. So, Hermitor or Shogun Cyanitaur, you can use the anti-aquatic since they aren't technically speaking, they aren't Wyvern Spirit, not technically speaking. So you'll have to swap this out depending on what monster you are fighting. It's just, because this affects the shelling damage of your gun lance. Then on the helm, we go for a razor decoration. On the hoplites armor, we go for 2 grinder decorations. Ideally, I'd like to have 3, but I wasn't able to slot that in. And to be honest, it's not like you need to sharpen all the time anyways. On the braces, we're actually going to go for a defense deco. And this is where you can slot in something else, really. I mean, I don't think the defense is mandatory. It's just, I didn't really know what else I felt like putting in there. So I was like, oh, let's put a bunch of defense so that I can just bullet barrage with reckless abandon. That's kind of like the point. I can always keep throwing myself at monsters because I have level 7 defense. And, you know, I just can, whenever there's that decision making that you're making in your head of like, is this a good time for me to bullet barrage or is the hit going to cost me? I put defense up 7 and I'm like, I don't care. Let's find out. On the Magmadron coil, we're going to go with 2 the redirection decos. I've spoken at length about redirection. It's extremely important. And then the Regio Scree is going to put a hard defense jewel ++. That is going to bring in +5 defense, and that is going to take us up to 7. If we then look at the final build, we're looking at defense boost 7. Like I said, this is not super mandatory, particularly if you know, if you feel like playing a little bit more precise, you can actually slot those out, put in some other skills, and you are going to have to change some things around because I don't think anybody's going to have an amulet that's as good as a charm that's as good as mine. So, you know, take those things into consideration. We got Razor Sharp, and some people might be wondering, Rurikhan, your gun lance has purple sharpness. Why do you not play with protective polish? And the reasoning is both the armor of Arlo as well as the armor of Basel come with Razor Sharp, so it makes it easier to slot in Razor Sharp. And at the same time, bullet barrage damage isn't really affected by your sharpness. And considering that you're going to be spamming so many bullet barrages with this build, Razor Sharp, protective polish, it's not really that big of a difference because you're not going to be using melee that often. So, you know. Then we have Guard 3. This pretty much comes for free with the set. You can level that up to 5 if you want to and sacrifice a little bit of defense. It's not a bad idea at all. We got max guard up. We got level 3 artillery. We got level 3 evade extender. We got level 3 part breaker. We got level 3 wire bug whisper. Level 2 load shells. Speed sharpening level 2. Redirection level 2. And that is pretty much the build itself. So the idea is use redirection as often as you can to recover your wire bugs, keep spamming bullet barrage, and Bob's your uncle. In case you guys want to know what the switch skills are that we are using, if we go to the ret swap scroll, we have blast dash, quick reload, wormstake cannon, bullet barrage, and guard's edge. I mean, this pretty much speaks for itself. This is kind of like your bread and butter when it comes to this gun lance because the whole point is to bullet barrage. But in case you're fighting something a little bit smaller, or maybe a monster that even though it's big, it's being a little bit too fast and you keep missing your bullet barrages, what you're going to do is you're going to go old school, baby. You're going to swap into blue scroll, and you're going to have blast dash, quick reload, erupting cannon, ground splitter, and guard's edge. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, ground splitter, I don't know about that, because I've seen a lot of people defending like hail cutter and stuff like that. I think that for smaller targets, ground splitter is amazing. And you put that together with erupting cannon to deal a little bit more damage on your melee hits, on your full bursts. And then you're going to go just like full burst playstyle old school. And it works just fine because it used to work back then, still works back now. And the cool thing about this is that after you go old school on it and you go with ground splitter and whatnot and you have your buffed shells, if you happen to have the opening for the bullet barrage, you can swap in bullet barrage and you're going to deal additional damage because you might have the ground splitter buff. So in reality, it really is all about a balancing act, figuring out what you want to be doing. Do you want to be doing your bullet barrage spam? Do you want to be doing your full burst because it's a smaller target? Make your decision and then get in there and just have some fun. So as I was editing the video, I noticed that I didn't really talk about the food buffs that I use when I'm playing this build, which I also find to be particularly important. So here we go. As you guys can see, we are using the hopping skewers. We always use dango tickets. In case you guys don't know exactly how food works or how to get dango tickets, I'd recommend you watch my food guide video because I go into great detail about all of those things, both how this hopping skewers work as well as dango tickets and all of that. But suffice to say, we use hopping skewers. We have Dango Defender High, which puts at a level 4. We have Dango Bombardier 3, which makes sure that the damage is maximum without really using the sharpness reduction thing, because that's going to reduce your activation chance to 70%. That's why I put Dango Bombardier on number 2, because I just want the level 3. That's more than enough. And then we have on the last one, Dango Defender. Although the last one really is up to personal preference. I used to have Moxie on there. I've had different buffs, but like the final buff really isn't that big of a deal in my opinion, so you know, I'll leave that one up to you guys. Pick whatever you want. The most important thing is Dango Defender high on the top, Dango Bombardier immediately below it, because that is the stuff that I use for this build. But you know, food buffs are food buffs, so long as you got Bombardier in there. The rest of it really is just flavor for whatever playstyle you want to do. This is my current Gunlance build. I'm also working on a set for wide shelling, and that is going to be very different from this playstyle, because in my opinion there is currently a lot of viability when it comes to elemental Gunlance builds. And you guys are like, elemental, but shells aren't affected by elemental. No, they're not. But pokes certainly are. And elemental pokes, with a couple of skills that you can get, they're pretty friggin' beefy. I'll tell you that right now. And that is, I'm working on that, but it's going to require quite a bit of farming. So I hope you guys are excited about that, because that's probably going to be the next couple of, the next video that I'm going to be working on. And I know there's a lot of people that are like, Rurikhan, when are you going to play another weapon? And I hope you, I really do hope you guys understand that it's like, look, I'm enjoying the game, just like all of you guys are enjoying the game. I just want to enjoy the game right now, and I don't want to have to worry about making guides. I made a couple of guides at the start, and now I want to enjoy the game. I want to enjoy the progression as a player, as everybody else, and not just as a content creator, because that is the quickest way to burning out, is constantly just, you know, playing a game to make content. And as much as I love doing the streams and all that, I don't want to force myself out of doing the things that I want to in order to enjoy it. So I hope you guys can understand that. But, you know, I will be making guides for the other weapons in due time. Until then, hope you guys can continue to enjoy the content. There's obviously going to be the first hunt series. There's going to be more live streams. So thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you guys thought about this video, and have a nice day. Stay strong, stay safe, peace out.
Another job will